let's deal with another topic, which I hope that we didn't make political capital out of it. And I'm talking about the armyworm attack on farms. We have heard the minority complain that the Minister for Agric, I'm talking about Dr. Efri Akutu, he was asked a question on this. He was supposed to appear before the House and explain what steps government is taking to deal with this, because the situation is getting worse. He was out of the country at the time. He made a deputy agric minister, who is the member of parliament for Wali Wali, Mr. Sagari, to go and do that. The minority were not happy. Let me start with Walanya. What's your reading of the situation of the armyworm attack on farms?
This is not the first time we're experiencing this armyworm attack. And I should say that...
but I think this particular one, this fall army, this is the first time, because it's limited to areas of Brazil, and that this is the first time this particular one. We often have armyworm attack, but this particular armyworm attack, this is the first time it's come to Ghana.
This particular type?
Yes, this particular
strain.
Yeah.
So it also means that previously, what we have traditionally known, we were seeing something very different from the previous strains that we know,
that's true,
which we have formally been able to contain. For me, I think that issues of food security, the last thing we should do is to play politics with it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I believe there are more experienced people, not just on MPP side, but on the NDC side, who probably have a lot of knowledge about how we can fight this particular outbreak and be able to contain it. Rather than the same thing, the man, anyways, is not around.
Yeah.
He has deputies. That is why the president, is in his knowledge, whilst he was appointing a substantive minister, also appointed a deputy. Why? Because government businesses must not grind to a halt. So at the end of the day, even if I'm not around, somebody is around to be able to make certain critical decisions. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so the minority's call or concern is right. At least they're also very concerned about this particular strain and the way it's causing havoc to farmers, and wanting to know what strategies or programs has been put in place or are going to be deployed to contain this particular issue. But for me, what stands out is the fact that it is not that government is also not doing anything. You understand? It's if government set back and it's not even not talking to the farmers, or it's not trying to find a solution to the problem, that is when I feel that then we need to be very concerned. But we have seen that there are some moves on the part of the Agric Ministry.
Except that when we first reported this, government said it had taken some 15 million Ghana cedis. The minister applied for this money. It was made available. And yet we have seen a graduation of the attack.
That's what I'm saying, that the traditional ones that we have known, the very traditional incidences of the attack on the maize farms and all those things, we have always been able to contain them. They don't spread as we have seen.
Yeah.
This particular strain is I think it's a rare one.
Yeah, because this one is
it's a rare
Brazil.
one, and as rare as it is, it means that you cannot go and deploy the same traditional methods of containing it on the field. You understand what I'm saying? Unlike the pig, the African swine fever we are currently experiencing. One of the best ways the Agric Ministry is trying to contain the disease is by telling farmers that you cannot move your pigs, live animals, from one region to the other.
Okay, so
and even within districts, at the local level, people are not being allowed to move their animals around. So it's a strategy to contain it. But this is a rare one. And I believe that instead of us doing the same issue we just complained about, the same politics, the minister is not around. So who do you want to talk to?
Well, I think the minority.
The minister coming to tell you the same plans that they are deploying to contain this new strain, and the deputy coming back to tell you the same thing.
The minority's problem was that he ought to have taken this more seriously and should have come to Parliament rather than travel and let the deputy
But the
minister
money has been given
do it.
out. Monies have been given out. Programs have been deployed. People are on the field trying to contain a disease. It doesn't mean nothing is happening.
Mumi,
it doesn't mean nothing is
you are
happening.
shaking your head.
Because if I don't know if you have been on any farm recently. I have. In recent weeks, I have visited a lot of farms across the country, in the north and also around the Wenya area. And what I saw almost brought me to the point of tears.
Wow.
And so
That's
having
how
seen,
serious it
yes,
is.
how serious it is. And then having seen what I saw and observing what our parliamentarians were talking about, I was brokenhearted, to be honest with you. I remember in 2009, there was a glut. There were too many tomatoes around the Bolga area.
Yeah,
to
no,
the extent that
it's an annual occurrence.
yeah, to the extent that farmers were not even getting people to buy the tomatoes. The tomatoes got rotten and they committed suicide. I don't know if you remember that story.
No,
people committed
even in
suicide.
Akumadan today,
Yes.
they produce tomatoes Akumadan from January to December.
Great.
And
But
it's just there.
I am saying that people they committed suicide
Yeah.
because they were not getting buyers.
Because they took loans to farm the
Exactly.
tomatoes anyway.
So now, fast forward, it's no more tomatoes. Now it's a maize farm somewhere at Dungu between Yape and Tamale. Big maize farm. This man went for a loan and the whole farm is gone.
Wow.
And we spoke to him, I spoke to him personally, and he says, I'm just waiting for the government to do something. That government they were waiting for, and by government, the person is not referring to Nanado or his minister of agric. They are looking at government as in parliament and everybody else who is responsible. And then parliament talking about why didn't the minister come? What? I wasn't expecting that kind of debate in parliament.
No.
I was expecting parliament, whether it was the minister who came or whether it was the director of the Ministry of Agric who came, that the issue at hand is what they should have been discussing. People's livelihood is
at stake.
It's at stake. I mean, at stake. People are losing
Malik,
their
it's
jobs.
serious,
Families, it's so serious, Malik.
Look, if you take maize out of our food chain in this country, if you take maize out of everything that we consume, take maize alone,
it's huge.
and more, we will die in this country.
Look,
So I am not.
It's from maize. I mean,
maize.
But
if you
Mumi,
take
I'm
maize out of
interested in this farmer you talked to.
and not just one farmer.
So
Let me just.
did anybody attend to them?
As at now, no. Because the last time I went again to that particular farm was 2 weeks ago. And if you've been seeing my stories on GTV, I go to the north almost every month, 3 times in a month, every time. And this farm, I've been there again. The last time was about 2 weeks ago, and nothing had been done on the farm. Nothing.
No
You go to
spray, nothing.
Nothing.
But they said they have
they're using
procured
mosquito spray. That was in Nyankpala. Nyankpala, there's a big farm in Nyankpala where the farmer has bought a lot of, just, mosquito spray. The one they raid.
Yes.
Go on the farm and try to, but he says it's not working. And it's costing him money because one
raid is
so much 10 cedis. Because the normal pesticides are not working, so he's resorting to all. And I believe that even the mosquito spray he's using on the maize is affecting the
quality of even the plant.
The maize itself.
The maize, yeah.
It's just a mess. And like you said at the beginning, this is one issue that I thought we should have.
The parliament should have come together probably to. That's why I made
like
the
way
point
they
that
discuss the issue of their cars and loans and their homes and so on. This is the way they should have approached this particular issue.
Because it has to do with food security. And Malik, let me tell you something. The amount of maize we consume in this country.
I think
we joke,
it's a major staple.
Boss, if we joke in this country,
there's no doubt about that.
If we joke in this country with this particular issue, why? The politics again is playing into it, and then the food dragging. They will debate.
They say we produce about 900,000. They say we produce about 900,000 hectares.
But even that is
so
not
far,
enough.
about 14,000 has been affected, so there is no cause for alarm. The deputy minister
who
actually
told you
explained
that
that.
there's no cause for alarm? Who told you that?
On whose part? Who
On the farmer's part,
on the
or
farmer's
on the
part,
politician's
the individual
part?
farmer shouldn't be alarmed, or that the whole country shouldn't be alarmed.
Christ.
I am more interested in the individual farmer.
That's it. Because he has a lot of responsibilities. That man at that level who is farming, do you know the number of dependents he has?
Okay, we have a few
people
minutes.
produce so much, they couldn't get market, and they killed themselves. Now they are not even producing at all.
It's not there.
Can you
And
imagine
we are politicizing the very security of this country.
We have just a few minutes left. Let's deal with Kumasi Asante Kotoko and the tragic accident which claimed one life. It reignited the discussion about towing. Did we discuss towing the day we met? The day we were here, we discussed towing.
Let me say that my condolences to one of my finest former bosses, Christopher, who was yesterday buried.
Oh yeah,
yes, Christopher. Yes. There were some of the few strong hands we met at Metro TV who greatly affected us. Chris was not just a sports journalist, but he was a great personality, approachable. One guy who can tell you in the face nicely that I thought that you could have said this way whilst you were doing the live report. So next time, know that others are also watching this side of you. So always keep your reports very balanced. He was that very respectful gentleman, and wherever he is, I bless God for his life. On the Asante Kotoko incident, quite very unfortunate. Yeah. And the last time I appeared on your program, Malik, I did tell you that I do not understand the reason why that cars break down on our highways and they are left. In fact, this particular car, I hear what actually happened. I don't know whether I'm correct, but the information I picked was that the bus had overtaken another car into the inner lane just when they had overtaken the other car. Just some few seconds. In
front, this car was there.
Yes.
And it was going.
And the car was in the inner lane. I have said that the very moment we begin to say, or the police, who traditionally have always been towing these cars on our roads, we begin, as I'm talking to you now, a contract has been given to a private entity to put together some consortium or something to be towing these cars.
Yeah, I mean, that has been suspended because of the...
It has been suspended. The danger we are probably going to run ourselves into is that the police will begin to also say that, oh, first it was my responsibility, but now they've given it to an entity. So when the car is broken down and I'm patrolling even on that road, it is no more my responsibility.
You made that point that day.
And you see, that is a danger because that is. We have lost. We are just talking about football. Somebody says equipment manager. We have lost a human being.
Yeah,
people have been wounded.
Somebody's husband, somebody's father, somebody's son.
Some permanently scarred. Is that what we want for ourselves?
Let me go to Mumin. We don't have much time.
It's a very sad situation.
So, Mumin, do these accidents justify, does the contemplation of a road tow, a compulsory road tow, that a road towing, car towing levy that was being contemplated, which is
by
actually...
the way, before he comes in, I did make the point the last time that the police who have been doing this job traditionally, I am saying that these monies, even if it becomes law, implementable, all I'm pushing for is that these resources should go to the police, empower them properly.
Yeah, you made a point.
And they would be, because
it's actually law. It's actually law. It was passed by Parliament. It was passed by Parliament. So
and let us not steal money and give to somebody to go and chop.
Do these accidents justify the road tow and the manner in which the contract was structured?
For me, it doesn't. I think we can handle the issue of the road tow differently rather than giving a contract to one particular company to handle that. But you see, I'll be very brief. Last week, I was at a forum where a DVLA official addressed that forum very briefly. He said 6 people die a day. Every day, 6 people die on our roads. I multiplied that by 365 and I came up to 2,190.
Which is true, because every year we don't lose less than 2,000 people in accidents. Yes.
Assuming that, and God forbid, a terrorist attacked somewhere and killed just 100 people, we'll take that as a matter of seriousness and apply all our security agencies to fight that terror attack. This is worse than any terror attack I've heard of in Africa. 2,190 people dying every year.
This is a serious human resource to this country.
And we are losing them. We are not taking the issue of road accidents as seriously as we should. Now, talking about how to deal with stationary vehicles on our roads, I think that it should be handled at the district assembly level. That every district assembly should have a task force that monitors, to the roads to find out which vehicle is parked where, and then just tow it away, tow it to a particular designated point, and whoever the vehicle belongs to would come and pay. After a period of time, if the owner doesn't show up, the vehicle should be auctioned or given to some state agency to use.
Because
that was, look, and we should punish mechanics who go to repair vehicles on the road, because when the vehicle is broken down, you must find a way of towing it to a safer spot
and then
where
repair it from there.
Our roads are not mechanic sites. We shouldn't allow that. But the issue of towing should be left with the district assembly.
Thank you. Abdulhai Mumin is a news editor. He's an anchor at Ghana Television.
By the way, I've also started anchoring, so...
senior political correspondent, Metro TV. They have been my guests. My name is Malik Abbas Dabu. God willing, next week we will bring you another exciting discussion on Editors Forum. Until then, keep safe. Bye-bye.